Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Griffin here and I hope you're all having a fantastic day as always. Now in today's video, as you probably already saw from the thumbnail and title of the video, we're not actually going to be speaking about stocks and the stock market. Rather, we're going to be covering a topic that I haven't really covered on the channel for a couple of years now. I'm speaking about a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and well, Ethereum, which is actually the cryptocurrency that I currently hold after years of mining the stuff myself at home on a small mining rig that I built out of 3 graphics cards. If you're an OG subscriber on the channel, then you might actually remember some of these videos that I started posting a couple years back when I first started the channel at all. They're pretty cringy to watch, I must say, when looking back at them now, but regardless, I had built that mining rig way back then at the end of 2017, never bothered turning it off, and it's just been running ever since, even when things seemed pretty bleak for cryptocurrency. But since around 2018, I haven't actually given any updates on both the mining rig in question as well as my current crypto holdings, so with more viewers becoming interested in that and asking me for a video on cryptocurrency, what I think about it, and with the price of these cryptos absolutely mooning, as they call it in the crypto space, I thought this would be an opportune time to make a video update on the mining rig and crypto in general. Now, by the way, does this mean that I'm going to be branching off and speaking more about crypto on the channel moving forward? No, probably not. I just had a lot of viewers asking me for an update about the mining rig and what my thoughts were on a crypto in general, so I wanted to share my thoughts on this matter. And as always, I really hope you enjoyed the content of today's video. If you do, drop a like on the video. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And on that note, let's get right into the video. Alright, so diving into my crypto wallet here, as you can see, I have 0 Bitcoin as well as 6.305 ETH and some change. And for any American viewers here who are like, what the heck, ETH at $786, this is in Canadian dollars, so that's why at the conversion it looks a lot higher than it is. But over the past 3 years or so, that GPU mining rig that I created slowly but surely crept up to a point where now I have 6.3 ETH in my wallet. But over that period of time, let me tell you that when the price of ETH was around $100 or less even at one point, these payouts that I was receiving from my mining rig were less than like $10, and that was pretty unsettling. Now, if we actually move a little bit further here and click on Ethereum, this shows us the wallet in question. So like I said, we have 6.305 ETH in the wallet at a current market value in Canadian dollars of around $4,959. And this activity section right here is showing us all of those deposits from my mining rig over time. So it's pretty much on a 2-week interval that I'm getting payments, but as you can see here, they're usually around 0.05 ETH, and I have a lot of them dating back to around 3 years. Now, all those deposits that you were seeing coming into my ETH wallet happen to actually be payout that I was receiving from the mining pool that my GPU mining rig is a part of. So basically a bunch of other people who thought it would be a really good idea to sink a bunch of cash into an overly powerful gaming computer all put their own rigs together into what's known as a collective mining pool, where basically all the computing power of each one of these individuals' rigs is put together with the same goal of mining ETH coins. And then every time that this collective mining pool ends up mining a coin on the Ethereum blockchain, every single individual who was part of the pool at the time that the coin was mined is rewarded in proportion to their overall computing power that they contributed to the pool. And if none of that made sense to you, honestly, not to worry, because it really doesn't matter in the big picture. What we want to know in this video is, why do I believe cryptocurrency is running right now, and as investors, should we be looking to include crypto or not in our portfolio? Now, first off, if you're a new viewer on the channel, then it's important that you first understand that I primarily invest in real estate as well as stocks, because for real estate, there is actually a property that's tied to the investment in question, and then for stocks, there's an entity behind the investment that is generating income and will hopefully growing, all of which are what's ultimately supporting the price movement of these investment vehicles. But when it comes to crypto, we're looking at a completely different ballgame here, because for the most part, cryptocurrencies are sort of a commodity where, at least for right now, their price movements are very much just tied to supply and demand in the open market, as well as overall speculation on what crypto might be in the future. For now, at least, I do see these drastic price movements in cryptocurrencies somewhat similar to the price movements that we experienced over the course of 2020 for precious metals such as gold and silver, even though gold has dropped down quite significantly significantly from its all-time highs only a couple of months back. While gold and other precious metals are seen as being a store of wealth themselves, well, I think that a lot of investors are now coming around to seeing cryptocurrencies as being a viable modern version of gold to hedge against inflation. And with the American government's balance sheet climbing higher and higher over the course of 2020, this honestly isn't really surprising investor behavior. Now at this point in the video, if you're still even confused as to what a cryptocurrency even is in the first place, so let me take a quick second here to explain without going into too much detail. Cryptocurrencies are essentially these decentralized forms of currencies that are backed by what's known as a blockchain. And for this reason, they aren't going to be regulated by traditional government bodies like fiat currencies are, for example, the Canadian and American dollar. And over time, cryptocurrencies, more specifically Bitcoin because it's the largest and most recognized, has sort of become known as internet money, I guess we could say, where theoretically the public can use this as a means of payment without any regulation. At this point though, nearing the end of 2020, even though the price of Bitcoin is significantly rallying, well, the actual use of it as a currency hasn't really caught on at a wide scale level because for the most part, not that many people are using it, there aren't that many vendors that are actually accepting it, and using it in everyday life is actually kind of cumbersome. But regardless of past negative connotations that Bitcoin as well as Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies may have developed as being sort of used for shady business or such, there's no denying whatsoever that since the bull rally of cryptos back in 2017, well, over this period of time, there's definitely been a lot more research and interest towards using cryptocurrency on a wider scale in our everyday society. For example, PayPal has recently announced that they're going to start accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment, and then Fidelity Bank has also created a Bitcoin fund that you can go ahead and invest in. So these are extremely large financial institutions that are slowly but surely adopting the use of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which is really promising for the crypto space. Alright, so at this point, most people are at the very least aware of what Bitcoin is, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of years or so, but Bitcoin is by far the largest and most well-known cryptocurrency. It's the largest by market capitalization at a market cap that exceeds now $300 billion, and it's sort of seen as sort of the gold of cryptocurrency. So yeah, Bitcoin is by far the largest in terms of market cap, and in my opinion is pretty much the cryptocurrency that really matters the most in the big picture. At least that's how I see it. But then again, I'm no crypto expert by any means, so if you have any opinions about that yourself, make sure to let me know down in the comments. And with that said, as we looked at earlier in my crypto wallet, I don't actually hold any Bitcoin myself, rather I only hold Ethereum, which happens to be the second largest cryptocurrency in terms of market capitalization, as we can see on this page right here. For now, I kind of just see my Ethereum holdings as a medium hold or whatnot. I've never actually sold any off over the course of time that I've been mining Ethereum, and I've pretty much just been holding on over the past couple of years, riding through the Marianas Trench that we experienced over the course of 2018-2019 for Ethereum prices. But fast forward now to the end of 2020, we can see that the price point for ETH is absolutely exploding. And like I said, the price of these coins right now is pretty much solely determined on supply and demand. So with significantly more buzz currently around the crypto space and much more volume of trading in the market, this is what I believe is pumping up the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and other cryptos. As mentioned earlier on in the video, as of right now, I very much see these cryptos as being commodities that people are pretty much just buying and selling in order to actually make money on, which is not really a sustainable practice in the long term, as we saw in 2017, for example, when cryptocurrencies crash down. Now, do I think that that will happen once again? Who knows? But until there's actually a larger wide-scale adoption of using cryptos in our society, I think that as investors, you should be wary of a FOMO mentality of just buying into cryptocurrencies in order to make a quick buck. Because for now, the actual value that most investors are seeing in Bitcoin and Ethereum is just making money on the actual price movements of the coin. Now, this article on Bitcoin Market Journal, which obviously take this information with a grain of salt because this is very much a Bitcoin friendly blog, but this article speaking about how many people use Bitcoin in 2020, it says that there's now over 100 million Bitcoin wallets with value that now exist. Now, this can mean $1, $1 million, whatnot. This is all Bitcoin wallets combined. The number of active daily Bitcoin wallets have reached an average of 1 million. Now, this means Bitcoin wallets that have funds coming in or out of the wallet on a daily basis. And one thing that I found interesting is that an estimated 11% of Americans currently hold Bitcoin, which I believe is actually pretty high, and it demonstrates how there's more interest towards cryptos. With that said though, if we do scroll down a bit in the article, we can see that under the section 1 million users transact Bitcoin daily, well, it says that from that 1 million users, we can assume that only 3% of the near 32 million non-zero balance wallets transact Bitcoin every day, indicating that hodling and speculating on the price is the most popular use of Bitcoin, as we spoke about earlier, with Bitcoin very much just being a commodity where people are speculating on the price. Let's take a second though to circle back to my mining rig, because yesterday on my Instagram page I actually posted a story asking viewers to submit questions, and I got so many questions, but one of them was, what was one of your worst investments? Now sure, I have a couple of bad stock investments, but in terms of a pretty bad return on investment, I would have to say that the mining rig itself was pretty bad. When all the computer parts were purchased and everything was said and done, up and running, it cost around, give or take, $3,000 in order to build this thing, and over the course of the past 3 years or so, the market value of the coins that it ended up mining were really minimal, and for this reason it would have taken decades pretty much to pay off the rig. Now fast forward now to 2020, with the price of Ethereum skyrocketing, the market value has now surpassed what I put into the rig, but nonetheless this has been a pretty bad return on investment in terms of a quantifiable return and opportunity cost for that $3,000, but you know, oh well. Alright, so the question now begs though, should you, who is most likely a stock or real estate investor if you're watching my videos, include cryptocurrencies in your portfolio moving forward? So obviously right now there's a lot of buzz surrounding the crypto space in general, with Bitcoin nearing all-time highs once again, or maybe even surpassing it by the time this video is released, but a lot of investors and people in the investment space are saying that this time things are different, and that with enough user adoption over time of actually using cryptos in our everyday lives, one Bitcoin could maybe be worth $50, $100, $300,000 per coin even. Now I'm not saying that this isn't feasible, however these same types of articles came out way back in 2017 and these same arguments were being made. So right now though, I really just think that this is another case of FOMO mentality, where investors are just seeing the price of Bitcoin specifically, more than Ethereum that is, skyrocketing up to and past all-time highs, and for this reason, out of fear of missing out, people are piling on more assets, because in the big picture, even though PayPal and other financial institutions have given significantly more interest towards Bitcoin, well, the reality is that there still isn't really that much use of Bitcoin in everyday life. How many of you have actually used Bitcoin to buy anything for that matter? Probably not all that many. I certainly haven't. And in terms of a $100,000 Bitcoin, I just think that as of right now, we're probably still pretty far out from that actually materializing, because for the most part, there's a severe lack of education around what cryptocurrencies even are and how blockchain technology works. So with that in mind, we're probably another 5 to maybe even 10 years out from a really large scale user adoption. What I would say though, if you are still interested in including some Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other cryptocurrency for that matter into your investment portfolio, is to allocate a proper amount that you're comfortable with potentially losing in your portfolio. So this is the same advice that I give for other more speculative stocks, for example, the gold mining stocks that we were speaking about a couple months back, as well as other forms of higher risk and higher volatility investments. Allocate a proportionate amount of your capital that you're comfortable with potentially losing. For example, I usually recommend less than 10% of your overall portfolio, and even more commonly around 5%. Now personally, what am I going to be doing here? Well, as we saw earlier, I have 6.3 ETH in my ETH wallet. I'm not actually going to be injecting cash into the portfolio and buying more. I'm just going to continue mining the coins over time and see where that takes me. Alright, so obviously this was a very different type of video than what we typically speak about on the channel, speaking about stocks and the stock market, and I will admit here that cryptocurrency isn't really my area of expertise. So if you do have various different comments, make sure to let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the crypto space in general. But with that said, I really hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please drop a like on the video, and also consider subscribing and hitting the bell button to be notified about whenever I release new and upcoming content about investing in the stock market, real estate, and maybe even some more more crypto content in the future. So on that note, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.